Friday morning, November 1st, and time for our Friday Foodies segment. This is when we talk with our local restaurateurs and chefs about their menus, their signature dishes, their locations and history. And this morning, very excited to have from Flat Branch, Paul Hiskin. Morning, Paul.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you in. Flat Branch has been around for quite a while. I remember when they opened, but I can't put a date on it. When was that? We
just celebrated our 30th anniversary in April.
30 years.
30 years, yeah.
So in a way, Flat Branch and BXR have kind of grown up together.
Oh, yeah, hand in hand.
Very similar. Okay. Flat Branch is down on...
Fifth Street.
It's on Fifth Street, right?
I mean, right downtown, yeah.
You can get to the parking
Flat
lot.
Branch.
You can get to the parking lot through 4th Street, I guess, over there, too. But a nice location inside and out. How long have you been there, Paul?
I've been there 20 years. I started as a fried cook when I was doing my undergrad work back in 2004.
So is that pretty common with Flat Branch? Do you have a lot of long-term employees, or are you the man?
No. Strangely enough, there are several employees that have been there longer than me. My nighttime counterpart's been there for about 4 or 5 years longer than I have. We've got one of our managers who, even though he's a lawyer, he still comes back and runs the restaurant a few days a week, and he's been there for 2 or 3 years longer than I have. It's a labor of love, but a lot of people, it's an unusual thing to find waiters and waitresses in a college town that have been there for 10, 15, even 20 years, and it's something we take pride in.
I was going to say, there must be something to it if they're staying that long and must enjoy it for reasons.
Yeah, I guess I'm a really nice guy.
Why? That's what I've heard.
That's it.
So tell us a little bit about the location, because it's an interesting building there. Was it built from scratch?
No. That was a renovated 1920s era Studebaker Oldsmobile Rambler dealership that... it was a nice car dealership in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. I think it became University Warehouse maybe in the 60s and 70s. But Tom Smith renovated it in the mid-80s, thinking that would be, it's like... Sometimes the thought process behind making a restaurant these days in America seems to be find a square cinder block right in front of a Walmart. But the beauty of the building and the kind of the connection to the community was something that was important. So it's got its choke points definitely in some areas, but it's a beautiful old building and it makes for a great location.
Tom Smith is great about that, his community involvement and connection. He gets it, and that's we certainly appreciate him around here. Flat Branch. We're talking with Paul Hiskin, who's with Flat Branch, and now you say it was a car dealership back in the day. Is that where Oil Change, for the beer that you guys brew? That
is exactly the connection. Oil Change Stout's been one of our. It's a silver medal Great American Brew Festival winner. It's one of our staple core beers that we'll always have. But the Oil Change aspects is a throwback to the old Studebaker
I had
dealership.
no idea.
I mentioned the Oil Change to a friend, and he said, "Oh yeah, you don't have to order dinner when you have an oil change.
Yeah.
That's your meal."
That'd be a dessert too. If you could, we throw a scoop of ice cream in there too, and make a nice Oil Change Wild Tiger float.
Really?
So to speak. Yeah.
Really? Is that on the menu or off the menu?
It's on the menu. It's on the menu.
My dad comes into town from Texas, and that's the first thing he wants is Oil Change Stout.
I'd figure a Texas man would like a green chili beer, but
well, he's from Missouri.
Yeah.
But I should introduce him to the green chili beer next time.
It's like choosing children. There's a new favorite every week.
Yeah.
I did the pumpkin ale.
Oh yeah,
that you guys
pumpkin.
had, and I mentioned it to another one of our coworkers here, and he says, "Oh yeah, the pumpkin is my wife's favorite at Flat Branch."
That was a cult favorite. Let me see, about 25, 26 years ago, we started coming out with the pumpkin beer, and at the time, most domestics didn't have any sort of pumpkin-flavored thing. Starbucks wasn't even doing pumpkin spiced anything at that point. So whenever we came out with the novel pumpkin pie in beer form, there'd be a line around the block. But nowadays we try to get a batch or two out well before Halloween, so we can kind of ride the wave of pumpkin spice that comes every fall with everything else.
Yeah, Flat Branch is a brewery, of course. We didn't even mention that, as well as a great restaurant. My wife, the Queen, is here, by the way. She's here in the studio.
Good morning.
We had dinner there Wednesday night, and her beverage of choice is Bud Light, but you don't really carry that to have your own kind of thing. And so but we asked, and they said, "Oh yeah, we've got a version of that kind of."
It was very good. I liked it very much.
Yeah, we christened that one Branch Light. That's a light domestic
Branch
style.
Light,
yeah,
right.
Light domestic style lager that I'd put up against any of the big, the Miller Brewers, Coors, any of those guys. It's a beautiful little beer.
Good stuff. We're talking again, Paul Hiskin of Flat Branch, the brewery, the restaurant. It's a great feel inside Flat Branch too, because there's a lot of wood. It's a very warm, inviting atmosphere, and then outside you've got a great patio area too.
Yeah, that's the patio is definitely, the patio season doubles the size of our restaurant. It's a great typical beer garden. Can't say enough about it. It does take a lot of my time during the spring and summertime. It's a labor of love keeping.
Do you
all those
take
plants
care of all
alive.
the plants? Is that your job?
I do. There are
a lot of plants on that patio.
There was a gardener that we had for a long time who retired. His name was Paul as well.
No.
One Paul passes the torch to the next. But it's a really nice way to enjoy a fall afternoon or a spring day. And we've had this year. It seems like we might have even gotten into November and still had some patio days.
Oh yeah,
it's only finally cold this morning.
I mentioned football Saturday's probably pretty busy there.
Oh yeah, it's just an extension of the tailgating that kind of just spreads from the stadium out. But picking up we started canning our beer just a few years ago, so it always makes for a great tailgate to grab a few crowlers from our bar and before you head out to the game.
Well known as one of our great local restaurants, Flat Branch. They're our guests today on Friday Foodies. Friday Foodies segment continuing with Paul Hiskin of Flat Branch. And the Queen is here with me this morning as well. We went and had dinner there Wednesday night, Paul.
Yeah.
And
it was delicious.
It was delicious.
Always good to hear.
Great atmosphere. And we're in a fish mood on Wednesday.
I like fish. We had to start with the chokes and cheese, though.
Right.
Gotcha.
It's classic.
The chokes and cheese appetizer is world famous, as the menu will tell you. Where did that come from? How long? That's been on the menu from the beginning, right?
Yeah. Well, one of our our chef in 2001 or 2, Rob Sampson, he came up with the recipe because he was a baker by trade. So making a fresh bread boule, that's one of the hooks that we have of our restaurant. Is almost everything's from scratch, and our bakery makes the bread fresh every day. So if you've got a fresh baked bread, bowl and a nice dip to go with it, it's just the perfect way to start off a good meal.
You can taste the freshness. It was wonderful.
I'm sure Cubby, our baker, would appreciate that. I'll pass it along to him this morning.
That was good. And so she did the glazed salmon.
Glazed salmon, dirty rice.
Yeah, and I had the catfish. Now I've had the strip there, which is great. The pork chop, you do a great job with that as well.
Bacon apple jam is one of our. It was brought back by popular demand. We took it off the menu for about 6 months, and everyone's like, "Where did the bacon apple jam go?" And we've got that on a burger, but it also goes on the pork chop. It's sweet and savory. It's excellent.
Oh, I don't think we haven't tried that yet.
I also want to point out that you guys have a bacon and blue cheeseburger, which is my favorite burger of all time.
Oh,
so
yeah, put blue cheese on anything.
I love
I'm
bacon and blue cheese together on beef.
She does it. Yeah, absolutely loves the bacon blue cheeseburger. And then, what are some of the other signature items that you would say are on that on the menu? I mean, the pork chop obviously is one of the big ones. What about the Paul's macaroni and cheese? Is that actually named
Is
after
that you?
That
I was wondering that.
It was named after me. Our chef at the time, Matt Arnell, was giving me. I'd really been talking up how I like bacon mac and cheese, and I think it always makes a solid pasta offering.
Mm-hmm.
And so he surprised me one day. He's like, "How about this?" And I said, "That is a perfect recipe." So it hasn't left the menu ever since, and I think everyone kind of agrees that a good mac and cheese, especially made from scratch, ready
good.
to order. It's not sitting in a pan. It's somebody is cooking that down. Every single order is made from scratch. So
every single order. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, it is the richest, most delicious. If you want a real homemade mac and cheese, Flat Branch is the place to go to get it for sure.
You guys
100%.
cater? Could I get a package of that for my Thanksgiving, maybe?
Ooh.
We are getting our to-go operation back up and running, but no catering at the moment.
Is that an idea?
But a to-go, I mean, if we could order up a couple batches of that
the Paul's mac and cheese for you? I don't know.
Not gonna.
You're not gonna stop me. You can't stop me.
How often do things come on and off the menu? How often do you change things?
Sure. We do twice a year. We'll switch up our menu for a spring, summertime menu. We just went to our fall, winter menu about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So, a lot of the bright, fresh ingredients of the springtime. So the salmon that you had the other day, we had a citrus pico de gallo for the last few months, and then we switched it to a bacon maple bourbon glaze. That's a tongue twister there.
Yeah.
But the heavy savory stuff in the wintertime tends to something to stick to your ribs, so to speak.
That's really great to know. I didn't realize that the menu changed every several months or so, and I just assumed things were coming off the menu that I liked, and I was getting mad about it. We were just having a little chat about the bangers and mash.
I know.
I've been waiting for you to come in here so I could, banger and mash you into getting that back on the menu.
Well, we'll have to run that.
All I knew is I guess all I needed to know is I wasn't coming at the right time of year.
No, well, that's one of the bangers and mashes. The one that's like every spring and summer we always have a sausage offering because we make our own sausage links in house. So the chorizo just came off the menu, and it was half and half between bringing back the bangers and mash or featuring our Oktoberfest selection of Bockwurst, which is a traditional bratwurst made with a Bock-style beer. And you're doing beer battered or beer boiled bratwurst is in Missouri. It's a flip of the coin between bangers and mash and the bratwurst. And
I lost.
Yeah, we'll try to bring it back.
It'll
Usually,
be back
there's
eventually.
no losers. There's no losers.
You can't lose. The menu is so good. It's always I have a really hard time picking the selection.
And here's the thing: we haven't even mentioned the brick oven pizzas.
Oh, yeah,
right.
That's always
There's
been
also that
one of the it's like trying to find a unique pizza that isn't offered somewhere else is always kind of one of the things we're trying to do. Our newest menu has a pizza called the Nutty Blue Pig that has it's got a vinaigrette, bacon, pecans. It's a crazy pizza. You're not going to find anyone else. And blue cheese. That's the blue of the Nutty Blue Pig.
Okay.
I'm telling you, pizza game in Columbia is strong.
Oh, I know. It's again choosing children. You got Shakespeare's Pizza Tree. It's like all the favorites that are like pure local, and a lot of times
we would
people
never need a chain pizza. You would never have to eat a chain pizza in this town. There's so many good pizzas.
You shouldn't. Absolutely.
Yeah. No.
We're talking with Paul Hiskin from Flat Branch. And all right, Paul, we'll come to the time of the interview where we always ask our restaurateurs this question. Can you name somebody else in town that you admire, that you think is doing a great job with it?
Sure. Well, one of my favorite places just closed down this last week, Okie Mama.
Yeah.
And there'd be a classic staple. I have not tried their new location, but Pho Quan is right off of Paris. I think that's where they just
took
moved.
over the old Hardee's.
Yeah, they've got a beautiful pho and banh mi that is just always one of my favorites. And there's a place called the Dive Bar, and that does not do it justice. Its cocktails and its food are 5-star. They do amazing things you would not expect coming out of there.
Well, we've had Karen from the Dive Bar in. She's been a part of the segment a couple of weeks ago. But I definitely want to get Pho Quan on here, too, because that's becoming a really popular local place there on Paris Road as well. Well, great. Paul, thanks for coming in and chatting with us, and thanks for everything that Flat Branch does. We appreciate you guys in the community.
Always a pleasure to come by.